All right. Good evening, everybody. This is the CSRN weekly podcast, our video minutes. And I know you're probably confused and saying, who is that young lady with Brother Washington? Hey, that's none of your business. No, that's Mother Diane Gordon. Hey, she's going to be on our podcast today. We have her live in studio, and she is one of the matriarchs of our community. And you're going to learn a little bit about her and about some of the things that she's got going on right now. So what we want to do, we want to, Mother Gordon, we're going to put up a 5-minute timer. That'll give everybody an opportunity to jump on. So let's see if we can find that timer, put that on, and then play some music. All right. So we'll be coming back 5 minutes, get an opportunity to jump on and join us. This is the CSRN weekly video minute. All right, man. We're supposed to be muted. That's what happens when we don't mute. All right, welcome, everybody. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast where we come to you live to talk to you about some of the things we've done last week. We had the election stuff going on, Mother Gordon. The things that we're doing this week, which is really preparing for Juneteenth, preparing for a lot of things that are happening this coming week. And also in June, and some of the things that we got going on, for the summer. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I use the pronoun he and him, and I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN, along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bay. 7 years ago, Mother Gordon, they had this idea that they can just organize without being pastors, politicians, or professionals, and speak truth to power.
Yes.
And Mike Leonardi, Jabril, they had this idea, and then they brought me on and kind of toward the end to put together the event type stuff. And here we are 7 years later.
Wonderful.
Right. And today I have on my thick rim brown glasses. I don't have my optical glasses on. So if Kristen Moncrief is looking, hey, you ain't even cut the check. But anyway, I don't have those. I don't have those on today, Kristen. I've got on my yellow CSRN All Black Lives Matter Justice or else shirt today. Definitely didn't wear this to work because I still want to get paid. And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. And also in the studio, in the virtual studio, we have who we call Activist Bay. This is the lead, man. She is the lead of the administrative core of CSRN, Ruth Leonard. Would you introduce yourself? What do you have on?
All righty. I got to let this cargo pass.
Oh, okay.
My name is Ruth Leonard, and as Brother Washington said, I am the administrative lead for CSRN. I currently have my hair in a large black afro. I am wearing a gold chain, a thick gold chain with 2 links, and then a small Egyptian pendant with a white collared shirt and a black tank top underneath.
All right. Hey, listen, Ruth, before we get started, we didn't even get a chance to process who's doing the mission statement and who's doing the guiding principles. Which one would you know?
Well, before we do that, can we introduce our guests and have them introduce themselves?
Man, see, that's why she's the lead of the administrative core. Jody was right. Okay, all right. I don't mean to throw Jody under the bus, but that's what we do here. Mother Gordon, could you introduce yourself, who you are, and why are you still in the struggle for our people when most people have laid down and stayed down?
Well, first of all, my name is Mrs. Diane Gordon, and I have been an activist for over 70 years.
Man.
I believe in our people, and I think that where there's no struggle, there is no peace. And we want to make sure that we keep the peace.
All right, beautiful. Or not. All right. Hey,
wait, can we get a quick round of applause for 70 years in activism? Oh my gosh.
Absolutely. A round of applause.
Yes.
Oh, there it goes. Oh,
there we go. Yes.
Hey, all right.
Yes, 70 years. So I just would like to say thank you so much, Ms. Gordon, for coming and sitting with CSRN today. We appreciate all of the work that you've done, not only in your years of activism, but just in your years as a Black woman.
And
thank you so very much. I am very pleased to be here this evening to share with you a message.
Oh, yes, a message. Come on, message.
Oh, y'all gonna make me cry. Y'all gonna make me cry early in the broadcast.
Okay.
I know,
Brother Washington, we can start with the guiding principles, and I can jump into those if you like.
Oh, absolutely.
All righty. So, I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Of course, it's little technical difficulty. Actually, Brother Washington, could you start us off?
All right. Did you want me to start with the mission statement and then the
Um,
guiding principles?
nope, you can do guiding principles and I'll do mission statement.
All right. Want me to go first?
Yes.
All right. This is our guiding principles. Let's put that up on the screen. This is our guiding principle. This is the theme, Mother Gordon, that keeps us from imploding. You've been a part of grassroots organizations,
Yes.
and we come and go. And most times we go because of internal conflict. All right.
Right.
It's not external, it's us. Sometimes it's us. All right. And these are our guiding principles. All Black lives matter. Queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, differently able Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black lives matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe?
Ashe.
And that means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe?
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe?
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe?
Ashe.
Principled struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe?
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe?
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe?
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe?
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe?
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe?
Ashe.
And Ruth, before we get to our mission statement, I just wanted to go over our Kwanzaa word of the day from the Nguzu Saba, and that's umoja. Umoja means to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. That's how we support Kwanzaa 24/7. Ruth, if you
Yes.
could give us our mission statement.
Yes,
for
indeed.
CSRN.
All righty. So we are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help to foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politicians, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, regardless of creed or class or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives must matter. And injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
All right. Hey, before we take a short break, and we're going to come back with Mother Gordon and talk about some of the things that she has. Man, she's still organizing. She's still, we ain't
Power to the people.
right. We ain't doing no.
Right on.
She's still organizing.
Oh, I love it.
Man, before we take our short break, we just read our mission statement. For you, Ruth, how important is it for groups like ours to have a mission statement? What would you say to that?
So I think the mission statement is incredibly important, and I'm so glad that I'm a part of an organization that has a mission statement, because there are times when someone just wants to know who we are and what we do. And I think the mission statement is a really concise explanation of all of the amazing potential and possibilities that we can accomplish, as well as it keeps us focused on why we got started in the first place. Because if you look at it, like the mission statement starts off with like, why did we start? And I think a lot of times when you talk about doing anything, you have to have a good why. You have to have that driving question to always come back to remember on those bad days when you're tired, on those days when the police have shot someone else, on those days when you have to plan an event to celebrate the community. You have to always remember why you're doing this work. So I think that's why our mission statement is so important. And that's what it means to me.
Oh, man, I should have been taking notes on that. Hey, listen. Hey, we're going to take a short break, Ruth. We're going to come back with Mother Gordon. This is the CSRN Weekly Video Minutes. It's our podcast. We'll be right back.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers, because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers, or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. This program has fatherhood classes, which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with really being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do, because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important, and we have to not only say it, but we have to live it. We have to breathe it. We have to do it. We have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3. BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard. On the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see. On the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder, they give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change, if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life, let's say, because of where I come from, what I've been through. I learned to understand It is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me like how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been for a couple months now. So this showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me when fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you. Or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
And shout out to Brothers United, man. Be you.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN Weekly Video Minutes, and I've got Ruth Leonard. And hopefully there's an event that's coming up regarding education, and there's some politics that's happening that's going to prevent us from properly teaching our children. And some of these things, people have no idea at the level that we protest. All right, is we do the street corner awareness. That just lets you know that something is wrong. All right. However, there's some other things that we're doing too. We're really going to dig into that later on, Mother Gordon. However, I want to, if anyone doesn't know Mother Gordon, that's all good because I didn't know you. All right, until Minister Charles sent me to your Juneteenth program at Southern Missionary Baptist Church. And Ruth, that was when I was coming of knowledge, but had some healthy ignorance about Juneteenth. All right. And we're talking 90s. All right. We're talking the 90s. And I learned everything about Juneteenth from you. I've learned everything about Kwanzaa from you. And I've learned everything about being consistent, determined, and consistent from you. So, having said that, you better not cry. All right. Having said that, Mother Gordon, you've got some things coming up. First, once again, for everybody that's here, that's on here, if you're in the chat, put something in the chat. Say what's up, a black fist or one of them yellow ones. However, Facebook don't give us everything. All right. So, for you, who are you? How many boards do you sit on? And what are you here for to present to us or talk to us today about?
Well, today I'm here to talk about the plight of libation and liberation. How do we handle the death of the COVID victims? And how do we share that with others? So I was selected, Toledo was selected to be a part of the New York organization and also the Inglewood organization to put on what we call a longstanding blueprint of how we can help our community to recover from the deaths of so many.
Wow.
And so what we're doing here now is that we have been attending and discussing and implementing the process or being able to get ready to facilitate this on May 28th.
Now, for you, why do you think it's so important that we remember those who have perished from the COVID-19? Most people will say, well, What does that have to do with me? Why is that important to you?
What is important? Because that was a
Mhm.
person that was dear to our heart, and understanding that we grieve in many ways, but it's important to understand that we can do it collectively. There is someone out there right now that needs a word, a hug, or a loving smile to say that everything is going to be okay.
Wow.
And so when we think about our community, we need to come together and unify our community in this way of understanding that I've lost someone that was dear to me. I've lost someone that meant so much to me and taught me so much, and I don't want to forget them.
Mm.
And so, what we want to do is ask all of those who have lost a loved one through COVID or through tragic death
Yeah.
to take a little card and write something about them. If you have a t-shirt or a piece of material or something that was a part of them, to bring it to us, and we're going to make this memorable quilt that says to the community, we are not going to forget.
Wow.
We are not going to allow anyone to forget that I and others have lost someone that was dear to us. And so I think it is important that we share this information. And what we're going to do at that time is that connecting with New York and their
Okay.
display,
Wow.
Detroit, and we're going to have that shown virtually on June 19th.
Wow. Man, okay. I know somebody's out there that's watching this and they see you and they're like, okay, why is the Kwanzaa lady, all right, talking about, and we do that, all right? All right, we do that.
Let me say this. There is no limitation to what I do.
Mm. You hear that, family?
There
You
is
hear
no
that?
limitation.
Let me jump right in here and just give an amen. Okay.
Is that because when we are given a task and it comes to us, we can either do it or not do it. And when you're able to share your knowledge with others, it becomes very important because it's not about her as a Kwanzaa lady, but what is it that she can do collectively to bring
Man.
people together. And so when we think about the Kwanzaa lady or Mrs. Gordon and
Yeah.
Kwanzaa,
Yeah.
you have to understand that there are 7 Nguza Sabas that says I need to do.
Man.
It says that collectively and with faith, I can do all things. So I bring, when people come to me with ideas and I ask God to give me the strength and understanding to know what I can and cannot do, He never makes a way that I cannot.
Wow. All right. So 70 years organizing. What do you do? Oh, first, one of the things that we do, Mother Gordon, before we start anything, we ask for permission from our elder to begin. So I know that we've somewhat started. So can I ask you for permission to continue?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And most times, if I'm here, everybody just designates me as the elder. I'm like, don't you do that? I just got my AARP card, so don't. All right.
Okay.
Mine is still fresh. What do you do? We talk about self-care. All right, that's important to this type of work because we take in a lot.
Yes.
All right, but we want to come back next week. We want to be doing this for 70 years. All right. If we're blessed to be able to do that, how do you recenter? How do you rebalance? What are the things that you do?
One of the most important things is that you must have faith. You must have faith that when God puts it on your heart to do the right thing and for the right reason, and share that reason and understanding with others, I think that then you will see the difference. I think that one of the things that I prioritize,
Oh, wow.
I prioritize what's important to me,
Mhm.
what is important to my community. And also is that it is important that we learn how to um, think about what conditions that we want our children and our community to be in. Do we want it the same as it was in 60 or 80s? We have to learn how to make that transition
Wow.
as we get older and bring our young people along. We need to re-educate and invite them in to participate in the process. And so as we continue to work on any function or organizing,
Yeah.
is that we need to have pieces in place to say that we want to leave a legacy that they can follow, or either a roadmap to get from point A to point B. And as I spoke to you earlier, sometimes we have to go back to point A
That's right.
and reiterate what
That's
we
right.
need to do and make sure that the next B or C is able to move forward.
Um, I wanted to ask you this question. Oh, first, for anybody that's watching this now, anyone that may be streaming this later, this is an activist clinic that you're experiencing now. If you want to be here doing this work next year, it'd be best that you take notes now. I wanted to lift some other words that we talked about earlier about us as seasoned veterans still in the struggle.
Yes.
How important for you? How important is it for us to change? Because remember when I first saw you, I think we were outside with a microphone and a speaker. So now here we are on a podcast. So for you, how important is it for you that we change?
But I think that it's a bad wind that never changes.
Hmm.
And so what we need to do, we have to understand that we have to change with the times and the innovation and the technology. And you never get too old to learn. And I think that if we understand that, we'll move forward. We cannot stay back in the back with old ideas and think that we're going to get a better results. It does not give our young people an opportunity to come into that space if you're not willing to change. And so anytime we have an opportunity to speak to our young people, to share with them or they share with us how we can make it better, we need to be open-minded enough to accept that.
What keeps you, man, I can do this all day. What keeps you open-minded when so many of us are stuck in our ways and we're dug in that we're not going to do that. We're going to do things the same way that we did in 89 or 2007. How is it that you're able to make adjustments? And I've been organizing with you and under your tutelage for quite some time, and you never hesitated to change. What is how did how did how did that happen?
Well, one of the things that I have 14 grandchildren, and it amazes me. I had to change because in order to keep up with them, is that when a 3 or 4 year old come to you and say, "Oh, you don't know what you're doing on that computer? Let me help you."
Yeah.
So it's time to make a change. It's time to say, "Oh, I need to re-educate myself. I need to understand that, hey, I need, in order to move forward, I have got to get with technology and understanding that it's going to pass me by if I don't take an opportunity to learn from even the babies.
That's right. Well, just like I call myself learning from Ruth, Julian, Jody, and everybody that organizes with us, because I think that's how I get a chance to still be relevant.
Yes.
All right. And it's because of them. All right. It's because of them. If it weren't for them, I'd probably still be listening to 8-track tapes. All right.
and cassettes.
Right. So it's a blessing. Now, before we take a short break, and we're going to come back because we've got some things that we're organizing regarding education and politics and how they meet. I wanted to ask you about Kwanzaa. This year was kind of different because normally after the last day of Kwanzaa, we pack up, go home, and wait till you start bugging us again, all right, in September. Well, that didn't happen this year. After Kwanzaa, you kept on us about putting together different events and different discussions. How did that come about for you?
Well, I think it came about because Kwanzaa's relevant in our everyday lives. Those 7 principles, the Nguzo Saba, is relevant every day. And so by staying out there with the same message of unification and about collective work and responsibility, we're showing them that we have come together to share our knowledge and our power to make change. And so when we think about that, we decided that we were going to continue working with other organizations, be a part of Martin Luther King program, our Black History Month, our Women's Month, and now we're going into Juneteenth. Juneteenth is going to be on June the 18th at the Frederick Douglass Center. And one reason why it's on a Saturday, the 18th, instead of the original day, is because the 19th this year falls on Father's Day.
Oh, okay.
And so we want to acknowledge,
we
want to acknowledge our fathers to spend time with their children and their family. And we didn't want to take away from that. And so we have to respect that time is precious. And so we are doing it Saturday, June 18th from 11 to 6 at the Frederick Douglass Center. We have lots of entertainment. We have food vendors, we have vendors, and we have a lot of health agencies that are going to participate. And we have a lot of young people. This year we're adding the bake-off.
Okay.
So if you baking a cake and it's a pound cake or peach cobbler or sweet potato pie, you want to be in our contest, contact me at 419-410-8022.
Okay. Now, and also, if you didn't get that number, just replay this or contact us in our inbox, and we'll let you know. I wish I had a flyer up for the a digital flyer. I'll make sure we post that.
Yeah,
we'll post that on our site. And imagine this. I counted. There's a Juneteenth at the Dub. There's Juneteenth at Mott Branch Library. There's Juneteenth downtown at the main library. There's a Juneteenth program, I believe, that's happening at Walbridge.
Smith Park.
Yeah, Smith Park, right. Mott Branch Library in Smith Park. And also there's a Juneteenth happening at Walbridge Park. There was a day that the only Juneteenth that we knew about was the one that happened at Southern Missionary
Baptist Church.
All right, so now they made it a holiday, so I guess it's acceptable now for us to do it.
Well, I don't want anyone to leave away without coming to the Frederick Douglass Center on May 28th. Bring your card and description about your loved one. Bring a piece of material that we can sew together, and it's going to be a healing process. And I will continue to get the message out to you. And also is that you can contact the Frederick Douglass Community Center and leave. I'll have a box there next week where you can leave your information.
Global Tel Link. Except for approved attorney calls, this call may be monitored or recorded. I have a prepaid call from an inmate at a Colorado Correctional Facility. For customer assistance, billing inquiries, or to block future calls, dial 1-877-650-4249. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline this call, thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hey, Brother Omar.
Yes, sir.
All right. Ruth, can you hear? Can you hear, brother? All right, great. Hey, brother, we probably have one of the best connections today. And in our studio, we have Mother Diane Gordon, who is the head of so many movements here in Toledo. She has been organizing for 70 years, and she does not look tired, all right? She does not look tired. And earlier, you and I talked about the significance of Mother, and I'll call her Mother Diane Gordon. And for anybody that knows her, she's earned that title. All right, she's evolved from Miss Gordon and even Mrs. Gordon. It's Mother Gordon. She's a mother to us all. So, Brother Omar, now that you're here, could you introduce yourself, who you are, and brother, why are you still fighting in this movement?
Okay. Thank you, brother, for inviting me on and everybody who put this beautiful platform together. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Creator for sustaining me and blessing me more than I deserve. And my name is Omar Jeremy Jen. I was born May 6th, 1984. I'm fighting against illegal mass incarceration in Colorado that affects all people, all genders, all races. As explained on my website, freeourbrothers.com. I'm the oldest of 3 siblings. My mother made me this way, brother, so that's why I keep going in spite of all the different repression and various challenges of being a prison activist. First and foremost, of being a black man and challenging white supremacy in a system where they completely are against any forward progress of our people, and there's no pushback to that. So, I'm fighting against that, what I call a double helix of silence and acquiescence. And my mother, even though unfortunately she passed with cancer over 10 years ago, but her spirit is in me, and it keeps me going. Her love, her resolve to keep going and keep pushing, and she showed me that even to her final moments.
All right. One of the things we asked earlier, we asked Mother Gordon, what does she do? We asked her, what does she do for self-care? Because you've been with us for a few years. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I think that we're on year 3 or 4. And you helping us organize from the belly of the beast. What is it that keeps you coming back? What is it that keeps you involved in the fight for equality, for justice, for freedom?
Well, like you were saying, it was Mother's Day on the calendar, but every day is Mother's Day to me. First and foremost, our black women, don't get recognized, don't get appreciated as they should in society. So, like I was saying, my mother, first and foremost, she was my best friend. And when she caught that cancer, I was amazed at her strength. I never saw her, not to disparage anybody that's suffering and going through things, but I never saw her complain. I never saw her just give up, to the end. She was always fighting and getting kind of emotional thinking about it. Excuse me, brother.
Yes,
oh man, yeah. She just kept going, man, and that encourages me. Like, if she could do that, in so much pain and this misery, I have to keep going, my brother.
All right. And man, most times when we talk about struggle, when we talk about revolution, we tend to lift up the same men. We lift up Malcolm. We lift up Martin. We lift up Jesse Jackson. However, we forget the woman. For you, how important is the woman to our struggle, and what does that mean to you?
It means everything. Like, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches, she's the first teacher of the child. The old African proverb goes, you teach a woman, teach a man, teach an individual, teach a woman, you teach a nation. So often, we overlook them, and it's not right because, they give us life, through the Creator. That womb of a woman, her mind, her mental womb, her spiritual womb, her physical womb, it's what the Creator uses to bring forward some of the greatest people in the world. And if you look at it, even people that we don't agree with, they all came here through a woman. So we have to embrace and protect our woman and realize that, if it wasn't for, if you think about Malcolm's mother, she was great, a Garveyite preacher, and she helped instill those principles in him. You think about Louis Farrakhan, Honorable Minister Farrakhan's mother, she instilled so much greatness in him. So even just to wrap it up in this last point, I was reading Chica Diop, and the great scholar, and he was saying, a great French scholar, that in all the African societies, the woman was so highly revered, and it switched later when the Indo-Aryans came and they took over, and they realized that the only way the Indo-Aryan culture could take over world dominance was to take the black woman down from her pedestal, to take her down and to put the black woman first and foremost, and all women in a position of just lower than the beast, really, in their eyes and in the eyes of society.
All right. And look where we are now. All right. Hey, listen, we're looking at your website right now, and I just, if you don't mind, for the last few moments that we have, we've got Free Our Brothers, and if you just type, for those who are watching, just put Free Our Brothers into your search, and you're going to see his website, and it's the campaign to stop modern day slavery in Colorado, demanding equal rights to the underrepresented. Brother, look, you could easily do your time, 3 hots in a cot, go into the break room, and not worry about any of this. All right, why take this on? All right.
That's a good question. First and foremost, when I came out here to the state, and unfortunately I got caught up in this illegal mass incarceration machine, I looked around and I noticed, I'm from down south, what is awareness of at least, unity and culture, black awareness. I realized there was a lot of people disconnected, first and foremost, from their mothers, black men. And me having such a strong bond with my mother, and she always taught me when something is wrong, if you can do something to fix it with your mouth or your hand or your actions, you do it. Meaning with your words you speak, or with your hands, or sometimes you just gotta sit back and you may choose to just let it ride. But I knew that with my hands, like getting a pen and writing things out and forming that website through the grace of the Creator, that I can begin to affect changes. And even though there's a great disconnect in this community, in this culture, that I can't go for that. So I have to stand up. Please don't look at freeourbrothers.com and think I'm only talking about the men. I'm also talking about the woman as well, first and foremost, because this was my mother's legacy for me to come somewhere that has basically no black resistance whatsoever, and resist in the belly of the beast and help to liberate other people.
All right, and I'm glad that you said that. Right now we're looking at, there's a video, and maybe hopefully in the next few weeks, we're going to try to load this video on not only on our website, but also on our our podcast to show in between breaks. It's maybe a 5-minute video. It's called "Stop Illegal Imprisonment in Colorado." What has some of the politicians, how do those in a political position in Colorado, do they embrace what you're saying? Do they listen to what you're saying? What has been your interaction with with the politics of Colorado?
Well, let me choose my words carefully because that's a emotional topic, my brother. It's a saying that goes on here that politics, politricks, politricks. These people, they're not responsive because I understand in their mind the topic is too controversial for them. I'm not making excuses for anyone because if you take a oath and you want to take office, then you got to be ready for what comes forward. And as explained by my Instagram page, not to take away from the video that you just talked about, the RE Citizens video was pointed towards Colorado Black Caucus leader Leslie Herod, which is a wonderful Black woman, and we were presenting that to her, as you know, brother. And she said she was going to respond over seven and a half months ago. She still hasn't responded. So obviously, the good sister needs some encouragement. She may feel that it's something that she don't want to touch. Being that single Black representative out here in her mind, but
Yes, sir.
it still needs to come forward. So basically, there's been no response. A lot of people have been running from it. Even in the grassroots community. It's to describe Colorado is kind of like everything is only thing Black is a joke. Only thing Black is the tires on the cars. As far as a lot of areas,
Yes,
so we're a very small community out here, and it's hard to get people to move on these topics.
All right, my last question to you, and we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with the lead to our administrative core, and we're going to talk about politics in education in Ohio and how there's a bill, Brother Omar, there's a bill that's being moved to silence any type of critical thinking regarding education of our children. And we're not going to just lay down and allow that to happen. But I wanted to ask you this. We also have the Toledo Correctional Institution here in Toledo. And we have many brothers that want to reach out to us. However, they're prevented from contacting us through JPay. They're prevented from contacting us at most times through phone because most times they're in a hole because they're standing up for justice. For the viewers that may have family members at TCI, Brother Omar, what would you say to the brothers that are there, that are still fighting via work stoppage? And I support that. They're fighting via hunger strike. And I support that. I support anything behind bars that's going to bring them justice. What would you say to the brothers that are still fighting?
To the brothers, I say, man, God is with you. He's always there. He's always near. He's closer than your own jugular veins. He's always present. Please don't let the trials and tribulations of fighting against this oppression make you just give up. Just keep pushing. I would advise the families one thing for being incarcerated. I know I've learned a long time ago that prisons, they think they're their own little nations. They have these authoritarian regimes and various people who come up with schemes and everything. But one thing we got to understand, my people, and I say this in all humility, we have to put them on the spot. We have to put the word out. So please contact the local Black newspapers. The families need to come together, maybe strategize and see what politicians are likely to listen and maybe go inside those prisons when pushed to address certain concerns. But the Black newspapers, first and foremost, any prisoner-friendly newspapers need to know what's going on. Don't isolate yourself because prison wants to isolate the prisoners from each other. Of course, that's why they have solitary confinement. And they want to isolate us from our families and outside support because in here, anything can go on. But once you have your family and other people that's aware, then, they start to lose that power. So you're out there where you got this internet, you got this smartphone, and just do what you can to make sure you self-care first and foremost because you don't want to burn out. self-care, please, self-care. Then come together in strength, notify the black newspapers, notify the black politicians, or even, people of other races who are sympathetic to the cause, and make noise and put certain key individuals on spot. Find out who the key individuals are who are blocking the word, who are stopping this the communication unlawfully and doing various things, and then put them on the spot in an organized attack.
All right. Brother Omar, I want to thank you once again for joining us. We look forward to hearing from you next week. And as always, revolutionary salute and shields up, brother.
Shields up. Please support Instagram and Free Our Brothers. Thank you, everyone. And salute to the wonderful sister that was on her committee this morning. Earlier in the podcast.
Yes,
Shields up.
Shields up. Hey, that's our brother Omar Gent, calling us live from Colorado in the belly of the beast. And he's just like Mother Gordon is still here organizing with us. He continues to organize with us, also bringing us hope. All right. So listen, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with Ruth Leonard and some things that I really think everybody needs to know. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent, and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN Weekly. Oh, we caught Ruth in the middle of eating something. All right, good for her. Hey, listen, we are back. This is the CSRN Weekly Video Minutes, our podcast. In studio, we have Mother Diane Gordon, and I just can't say if it's not just the Kwanzaa lady. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that out of your head. She's that and so much more. I want to thank you for joining us in the studio.
It was a delight to be here.
Awesome. All right. That's the first time we've heard that. All right. And listen, I want to transition right now to Ruth. We've got an event coming up. Mm-hmm. It's not Juneteenth. It's not a direct action that we have boots on the ground, and we're going to get to that because protest season. It's in the air. Absolutely. Hey, listen, I wanted to ask you about this event regarding education that's coming up. I was trying to find, did we have a flyer for that? I'm sure we did, but here. All right, if that's it, they put right. The tech team, they disrespect us so much by putting right over our face. All right. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about them later on.
We'll take care of it.
Hey, what's happening and why should people know about this?
Okay. So as the administrative lead for CSRN, I often find myself in the mix with different people of different backgrounds and having different conversations that normally lead to education. And so I have taken the mantle as the educated activist, or activist bae, as Brother Washington calls me and other members of CSRN, to participate in a panel discussion. And actually, Brother Washington, if you could pull that flyer back up. So tomorrow at 5:30 at Scott High School, there is going to be a panel about honesty in education, also named Reclaiming the Truth. And our tech team can take that back down. Okay. It's actually a pretty stacked team of individuals who are going to be a part of this conversation. And basically, we're all coming together because we've reached a point now where the legal ramifications of past elections are finally starting to show up. And we have on the books right now, I believe it's House Bill 616. And that's the one that I'm going to be lending a lot of my expertise to. So this is the House bill that, if you're familiar with Florida, they recently passed the bill that was commodified to be the Don't Say Gay bill.
Right.
And this is the bill that, in a lot of conversations that I've heard, have been exclusively about, or the conversations have been exclusively about the LGBTQ community. There's also another part of that bill, as it was created in the Ohio House, to make a very clear indication that race is also a part of this conversation. Not to say that that wasn't the case for Florida, but in all the conversations I heard about Florida, it was primarily LGBTQ. So I just want to read what the Ohio House bill says pretty quickly. So the school district board shall not select any textbook, instructional material, or academic curriculum that promotes any divisive or inherently racist concept described in section 3313.6029 of the revised code. Divisive or inherently racist concepts include all of the following: critical race theory, intersectional theory, the 1619 Project, diversity, equity, and inclusion learning outcomes, inherited racial guilt, any other concept that the State Board of Education defines as divisive or inherently racist, in accordance with the rules adopted under Chapter 119 of the revised code. Now, I have a few things that I'm going to say now because I have a lot of problems with this bill. However, the main thing that I want to say is, number one, Black culture is American culture.
That's right.
This country, and I can say this as someone who has taught all of American history from 1492 to 1877. Like that's been my wheelhouse this year. So I can tell you unequivocally that this country was founded on the murder of Native Americans.
Yes.
This country was founded by the plight of white, European, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, whatever religion men. And this country was built upon the blood, sweat, tears, and backs of Black men, women, and children. That's the first thing. The second thing is that critical race theory is very necessary. However, when it comes to curriculums, it is only or primarily done in legal graduate level courses.
Teach.
The idea that critical race theory is going to become embedded into the conversations of a K through 12 classroom, a 4th through 12th grade classroom, are inherently just not true based on what the structure of critical race theory is. Intersectional theory, while also a graduate level concept, is something that these children live with on a daily basis, because intersectional theory, for anyone who does not know, is the combination of the lived experience of anyone who is not white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant men. So therefore, as a Black woman, that is an intersection. As a Black man, that is an intersection. As a Black woman under 30, that is an intersection. As a Black woman under 30 who is an ally for the LGBTQ community, that is another intersection. So for some reason, the idea of the fact that all of those different parts matter and should be taught is also seen as a threat to anyone who is not white. And I'm sorry, it is also a white woman who sponsored this bill. So the white community has found fear within anything that celebrates the founding of this country. The 1619 Project. As someone who has taught the 1619 Project, it is a very necessary part of the curriculum, because there was a point, especially now as we're getting back into the traditional classroom experience, these children have lost at least 2 years prior to this year of in-classroom experience. And a lot of times, those more difficult concepts tend to get looked over. So now I have children who are coming into my classroom who have no real understanding or concrete thinking of why slavery was wrong, because they've heard people say, oh, it's states' rights, and then they pick that up and they absorb that, and no one has countered that. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the Civil War. But the 1619 Project is a very necessary part of any curriculum if you are going to teach American history. Black culture is American culture.
That's right. That's right.
The last thing is the inherited racial guilt. And that one always stuck out to me because it falls back on this concept of having to pay for the fathers of the having to pay for the sins of the father.
Right.
And my issue with that is there needs to be acknowledgement. If you come from a line of people who you find out were responsible for the enslavement of other people, you need to do some internal searching. You need to go through all of those feelings. And if there happens to be guilt because of what someone else did, you need to process that.
That's right.
And you need to figure out how you are going to make it so that it stopped then and you will never perpetuate that type of thinking again. Because for some reason, slavery has become commodified, I think, in all of these different ways. Like when you go to the museum and it's no longer a slave plantation, now it's a forced labor camp, or it's no longer all these little euphemisms that
right.
And actually, if you go to the Toledo Museum, I love what they've done recently, but that language is still relying on a very PC phrasing of a terrible part of American history.
Right. And there's even use of the word immigrant.
Yes. And no. When you are taken from your home and brought somewhere else and forced to work, no. That's not an immigrant. Immigration implies some form of choice, like
absolutely,
like wanting to go or needing to go or having to go. Even like to be kidnapped is not to immigrate. Right. So I say all that to say, tomorrow there's going to be a panel of individuals, and we are all basically going to discuss the area of our expertise in each of these categories. So I'm representing Black women educators. As the only Black woman on the panel. I do believe Sheena Barnes, she is our Toledo Public School board member. She will be attending, and I'm sure that she has some remarks as well.
I think she's the vice president also of the board.
Yes, yes, also okay. Vice president of the school board. So just I'm so proud to know Sheena as a friend. Like even outside of an elected official, because she is everything. Like she is everything. When I look at the changes that I hope to make in education, Sheena is there, and Sheena's got a plan, and I'm just here to say, what do you need me to do? How can I help?
Now you do know that our dear sister Sheena started out organizing with us at the Padua Center.
Yes, indeed.
You know, I'm just putting it out there. We done produced some giants that come through through these doors. All right. You know, and she's going on to do and continue to do some great things, and particularly helping to organize and sponsor this event that nobody else is willing to tackle.
Right.
All right. So let it be said about Sheena Barnes when it comes time for re-election. Nobody else was doing this.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. Pay attention to where these elected officials show up and where they don't show up.
And that's putting a lot on the line to talk about us.
Yes.
Right. And, you know, I can go into why us as so-called Democrats haven't been successful, because we haven't been talking about the things that matter, Black families, you know, and we wonder why we're taking L's year after year. If we wonder why the conversation of abortion and banning it has come to this, Democrats have to take some level of responsibility of not fighting. Instead,
they want to have abortion, but then when the child get here, they don't want to pay for them.
Right.
Well,
Right. So that's
they don't want to feed them.
Look, family, and we
barely want to educate them.
Right. We need to start demanding more from our Democrats or run our own.
There we go.
All right. So
I mean, we did pretty well with Sheena. So I mean,
right. And utilize her as a prototype. If you want to be in politics, let's arrange some sit downs with Sheena. All right. If you really want to be for us, we'll arrange some sit downs with Sheena. Not some of the old guard that I know. All right. No, we want to. Mother Gordon talked to us about doing things different.
There we go.
How are we doing the same thing and then expecting Mother a different result? It can't happen. All right. So that sit down with Sheena, man, we need to have her on. All right. That sit down with Sheena. We have our own segment. Sit down with Sheena. All right. Hey, listen, Ruth. We've got Jody in because we're nearing that 7:15 time, and I think that he's on break right now. All right, we might want to capture him on break if you don't mind to have him on. Maybe give us 5 minutes of heat.
All righty.
Let's bring him on. Let's see. I'm trying to find him.
You got it? Here.
Yeah,
I got it. There we go.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey, what's up, Jody?
I got time. I got about 15 minutes.
Oh, well, we're
you
gonna
don't hear
give
the
you
background though. I mean,
yeah,
unfortunately,
we're gonna give you 5, Julian. All right, I got
wait, what was that?
I said you got about 15 minutes. I said, well, we're gonna give you 5, Julian. All right, you know what Julian does. All right, you give him a minute.
Say double down, huh?
Yes, sir. But we love Julian. That's why we talk about him so much. And I hope he doesn't hear this. All right. Hey, listen, first, for Jody, for anybody that's first time seeing this podcast, who are you? What are you wearing? And why are you still in the fight?
What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. So I am the treasurer of this wonderful organization. And currently right now, I'm on break because we got hockey, baseball, or something downtown and like that. But I'm here because this is my life. It's not just a protest or a march or to be mad about a bill that's getting redacted. It's something that I've been doing 20 plus years and with us 7 years. So it's not really a choice of mine. It's what I live and what I wake up to every single day. I came in and I noticed you guys were talking about Roe versus Wade and that whole cluster of situations. But yeah, just here enjoying life.
All right.
Oh, what I'm wearing is standard work gear. Well, not standard because anyway. My work gear with all my chains and stuff underneath, still.
Oh, they let you wear that at work? They let you wear all your stuff at work?
Nobody lets me do anything.
Yeah. I need to talk to my boss.
See that right there? Nobody lets me do anything. I do it because somebody has to. Somebody has to know that there's a me out there that looks like them and doesn't have to be standard or normal.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm here for all of that. Oh, Mother Gordon just asked. Oh, you can ask him. He's right there.
Yeah.
Mother Gordon wants to know where you're working.
I am still at Paco's at the park, where I've been since 2019, as we have 5 crew members when we should have 25. But that's virus we don't speak about coming into effect for everybody.
Okay. See,
well, I just want to know when I can come down and get
anytime you want.
Okay.
All right. No.
Hey,
I'm here like 7 days a week now until we get more crew members.
Like everybody can know that they can dress like you.
Oh, I'm unique or weird, as some people have called me.
All right, Mother Gordon, don't mess up his job now. Man, all right. Okay.
All right, you see me in the same thing when I'm speaking to Congress and courtrooms and stuff like that. I'm
great. All right, you're the bluest spot. Hey, Jody, we love you. We know we love you. Hey, listen, we're close to closing out. I think that we tied up our loose ends regarding some of the things that we've talked about. Oh, you know what? One loose end before you even talk, Ruth. We have Juneteenth at Mott Branch Library.
Yes.
I'm sorry I don't have the flyer to put up, but go to our webpage and you'll see the flyer there. We're working on having another flyer too.
Yeah.
And that's going to be dynamite. All right. So that's going to be my loose ends for today. I want to get see what do we have for 5 minutes of heat.
Okay. Well, in lieu of all the things that we're supposed to do as an organization that actually doesn't do that stuff, I have a piece called, what is it, 20 to Life. But I got some loose ends and stuff. I want to say shout out to Chris Rodriguez and Contron. And there's another guy. I got him when I do the album and I put his face up and stuff. But they just opened the art gallery on the east side. The same people that did the wonderful, largest mural in the world, what is it, sunflowers and stuff that's on our lakefront or Maumee River, stuff like that. So shout out to them. I was able to stop by, finally pick up my artwork from Chris, which I paid for like 3 months ago. But you know, life of an artist, as long as you support, it's wonderful. And shout out to Danetta Carter. She had another one of her mental health pop-up shop thingies and stuff. So I saw a lot of my vendor friends over there. Shout out to Sonia. She's still killing it. I know the season's about to start coming up for farming. You too, Brother Washington. So make sure to give yourself a plug for that too when you get a chance.
Thanks.
Other things, Arts Commission, you know, the stuff that's good around the city besides doing donuts on Hill and Reynolds. We speak on that.
Okay. I feel you. All right.
So,
I feel you. All right.
5 minutes of heat. Yeah, because I am getting close. I got about 10 more minutes. Anyway, today's 5 minutes of heat is called 20 to Life. I think I wrote this 2017, 2018, maybe, when it's getting warm. We're going through the same things, but this is a message. I guess you could call me an OG in a sense, because I lived through it.
You
stuff.
could. You could.
It's not just made up or done stuff for value or views or to get people to like me. It's stuff that I've actually seen and lived through. So let's begin. Peace. 20 to Life. The block don't need you. Trap houses will go on, just in a different form, co-sponsored by the pharmacy, government, and majority of those that gave up on you. All to keep our children blind to their true crowns and knowledge. We're all destined to drown if we don't feed our leaders now. That blood you spilt, stripes you earned, plug you robbed, and multiple women you burned just to hang them, yes, hang them like trophies while your seeds continue the only cycle they've ever learned. That won't mean shit when your family is selling dinners and begging people to bury you as you flatline in the street because your baby ba, baby ma, boo, or best friend just robbed you as you flatline in the street with no one around you. Don't fall into that trap. The block don't love you. The block only wants every ounce of blood from you. Every generation you birthed to grow up in poverty with you, to stack with no growth, spread disease with no hope, preach but not teach, eat but not feed, while we kill our kings and queens of a land we do not own. The block needs you to never have a voice, but to feed the statistics that we all belong in cages and chains, surrounded by walls for society to throw down its used tissue. We miss you. Teddy bear pole pictures, free my boo. Saying that's not our issue. And here's our proof. In peace.
All right, and that's always we snap our fingers, Mother Gordon. What you doing? Clapping your hands over there. All right.
Hey, just remember, We clap before we snap.
Whoa, okay, all right.
Okay,
You
yeah.
know,
Snap,
okay.
snap,
Hey,
snap.
hey, I ain't getting owned on my own podcast. Thank you, Mother Gordon.
I think you are though. It's okay.
All right, yeah. Hey, it ain't the first time. So I like that. If I wanted to get treated like that, I would have just stayed home. All right.
Oh my gosh.
But listen, I want to thank everybody, Mother Gordon. I want to thank you for gracing our podcast studio. Jody, thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, and Activist Bay, Ruth the Truth.
Also good to see you, Ruth.
Good to see you too, Jody.
Right, that's right. Hey, who's closing out? Who's closing out with the solidarity pledge?
That would be me.
All right.
Alrighty, at the end of all of our meetings, we close out with our solidarity pledge. It is not only our promise to each other, but it is our promise to ourselves to continue to fight the good fight until we meet again. Please repeat after me. Everyone say I.
Aye.
Your name.
Brother
Jody.
Washington.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
As I love myself.
As I love myself.
I. Say your name.
Jay Summers.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To study to improve myself.
To
study to improve myself.
Spiritually.
Spiritually.
Mentally.
Mentally.
Morally.
Morally.
And physically.
And physically.
For the benefit of myself.
For the benefit of myself.
My family.
My family.
And my people.
And my people.
I. Say your name.
Child of the system.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To be a part of the solution.
To
be a part of the solution.
The process.
The process.
And not the problem.
And not
the problem.
I. Say your name.
Spoken truth.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To give all that I can spare.
To
give all that I can spare.
Of my time.
Of my time.
My strength.
My strength.
And energy.
And energy.
To achieve.
The
above said.
The above said.
Now give yourselves a round of applause.
Now we can clap. All right, now you can clap.
Oh, we're going to snap now.
All right, that's right. That's right, man. Great show tonight. Great show tonight. For everybody that's watching, please share it. This has been a revolutionary clinic. If you wanted to be an activist or concerned citizen. And as always, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. And Black lives can't matter until all Black lives
matter.
Justice or else.
Peace.